Hooray! I don't know why the stream is not rotating. Why it wants to be that way. When we're supposed to do it the other way. I don't know why it didn't allow me to rotate. How are you? Hope you are fine. I just thought we should discuss this and talk about it. Okay, let me read some comments. Anxiety will kill me. How is this possible? White man as a village chief. Banturo says this is insane. Zambians can't be royals in Europe or Asia, so why is this even happening? Candy says this just made my day. Like really? We that sleeping, I blame the president. Foster says this is total madness. Oh, Winnie says Mutima inepano wapya. Musa says, what nonsense is this? A Muzungu made the chief in Zambia. Zambians are losing it now. Foster says, image, emotions, economics, education, etc. The white man has used our traits against us to develop all the tactics of trickery that still work on us today. We have failed. Foster says, we have failed to even pick up one of theirs to use against their tyranny. It makes what? Makes me want to rent my clothes right the moment. Foster says, please someone tell me, is this a joke? Yeah, so basically, obviously, I've just shared a video on my YouTube channel right now regarding the same, and I've just posted the link as well. It's an interesting story, really interesting, of how this white man is now the chief in the Lunda village. And I just found it interesting, so I thought let me share and then we can discuss, and you tell me your thoughts. What do you think? Should a white man be a chief? But I'm going to read an article for you as well. But then I've also shared a video on my YouTube channel right now, but I thought I should read something. Dr. Mon Kalunga TV says Zambia needs deliverance, please. Okay, let me read this for you. I was trying to rotate the screen, but it's not allowing me, so let me read. Chief Nyamwana is the only white who is a traditional leader of the Lunda tribe in Mwinalunga district in Zambia. In the 17th century, Lunda under its ruler Mwatayamvo or Mwantiav and the capital of Musumba formed the Lunda, Bulunda Lunda, which is now the Democratic Republic of Congo along the Kalayani River. From there, they extended widely over Katanga and to East Angola, the Luapula Valley, the Eastern Lunda, or the Kazembe London Valley. The Northwest Zambia, the Kanongesha Lunda, and the Ishindi Lunda, Gabon, the Republic of Congo. Peter Fisher was born from Israeli parents in Zambia. After the death of his parents living in Mwinalunga, he was adopted by Chief Nyamwana of the Lunda. He was declared the heir to his throne, as Chief Nyamwana had no son to succeed him. So this is why this man is now the chief of this tribe, the Lunda tribe in Zambia. So Peter speaks less English. Rather, he speaks Lunda proficiently and rejects to be called Chindeli, which means a white person in Lunda. As Chief Nyamwana, he was sworn in 2015 in line with his predecessor's wish. So it was the wish of the chief, the one that died, that this guy, Peter Fisher, should take over the throne. And you know, these traditional things, if the chief wishes, you have to do it according to the chief. So, you know, we've had previously a white vice president in Zambia, Guy Scott. So when Guy Scott was visiting the Lunda people, he was interpreting, like he would hear what Guy Scott was saying in English, and then he would now say it in Lunda. He is a Stanley Fisher brother who is a dual citizenship in Israeli and worked as a governor of the Bank of Israel. So the brother is Stanley Fisher. And the guy is a governor who works for the Bank of Israel, a chief economist of at the World Bank, and vice chairperson of the Israeli. So I thought this was interesting. You know, Zambia has a white chief. Zambia is interesting. We have a white chief. We've had a white vice president. We've had Chinese police officers. I don't know what else we're going to have next. But I thought this was an interesting story that we can't just, you know, neglect, because it has a powerful history of the fact that this man, his parents lived in that area and he was adopted, and now he's the chief, following the previous chief ordaining him as a chief, and that was the chief's wish, and that wish has been granted by making him a chief. So what do you think? Do you think the chief made a mistake? Do you think this is something that should have never happened, because obviously Africans want to maintain their African heritage? Or should we say it's fine as long as he was born in Zambia? What would you say? Let me read some more comments. Doreen says, oh, people of God, love yourself as you love your neighbor. There's a history beyond this, and we have known her history to start commenting on her like this, okay? Shinsua says, what's the problem? If he is Bemba, why can't he be chief? Limpia basungu nompana bamba ukubaba. So he's saying, what's the problem? You know, if he is a Bemba, why not? He can be a chief as well. So Layford Mundala is saying, from which tribe is this chief in Zambia? The Lunda tribe. So he becomes the first white chief in Zambia that, you know, was made a chief. And the thing is, things of being a chief, you have to, it comes with the blessing of the person who was a chief before. So because he's been blessed, and that was a chief's wish, I think he knows a lot of secrets from the chief. You know, before chiefs die, they pass on some powers and, you know, anything to do with tradition, they pass all those things on. Integrity versus hypocrisy says, Masetting, I know, like, it's strange, but at the same time, we can just say it's his luck that he's gotten this type of position. And the thing is, like, for example, I'm from a royal family, but my dad never wanted to associate with the village and the royalty. So imagine in that aspect whereby the chief is about to die, or they're looking for someone to take over. What would they do if my father doesn't want to take a position? They will give it to the next person who's interested. So it could be a nephew, a niece, or somebody like him who was an adopted son. Okay. Foster says, please someone tell me this is a practical joke made for sport. It's actually true. This chief exists and his name is Chief Nyamwana. Chief Nyamwana. So he is making headlines actually about, him being a white chief. The dude knows a lot. I'm sure he knows all the secrets of tradition and yeah. Let me see who else has commented. It's an interesting story which we can debate about because at the end of the day, every chief or king decides on what they want. So in this aspect, the chief who died decided that this man should take over. So it's interesting. You are not royal. I am from a royal family. I am from a royal family. Ask anybody about the Mutambos, Nakonde in Isoka. We are from the royal family. Trust me. My grandfather is a chief. As long as he is reigning his subject well, then it's fine. Yeah, I think it's fine if he's reigning his subject. But the question you can ask is, are we doing too much as Africans, like to give our tradition, in as much as he was born in Zambia? He was born in Zambia, but traditionally, is it right for him to take over the throne when there's other people in the whole village that can take over the throne? Okay. Danny Mosole says, okay, Sitali Joseph says, but to say to my said, I think is really good. Yeah, if you watch the video, the guy speaks fluent Lunda. Like he knows everything. I mean, for somebody to be adopted by a chief, it means he knew everything. And he was always found with the chief. Okay, so how can you claim royal but you do not carry yourself as such? Your parents failed. You transfer your knowledge and wisdom, inheritance, or whatever. Yeah, so what else would you want to say about this Chief Nyamwana? I like him. He's a cool dude. Let me check on my YouTube channel from the laptop. Can I connect? No, it's disconnected. Unless I connect here. Ugh. I was going to show, but if you check my video, my YouTube channel, I've set a link here. I've just posted a link. On that link, you can just check. You see how he speaks fluent Lunda. Like they had a meeting and he was just speaking Lunda like that. Speaking Lunda really fluent. I don't even know my own tribe's proper, like, how to speak my own tribe language. Okay, Gabogo says, no, Africa, please wake up. Tomorrow will be the Chinese. I mean, it just takes the Chinese to be born in Zambia and then they'll be taking over. Integrity versus Hypocrisy says, yes, Mutambos are from the royal code Chief Katiete, both in Soka and Kampumbo area. Yes, and in Chipata district, Malawi. Yes, we are from the royal family. We are from Chief Katiete. Fungai Mabuda says, when two brothers are constantly at each other's throats, a stranger comes and takes over their territory. Chinua Achebe. That's powerful. That's really powerful. So do you think this white man is a stranger that is taking over? Obama was U.S. president despite his roots from Kenya. So what's the problem with having a white chief besides he was born in Zambia? Yeah, that's why we're debating here. I mean, what do you think? Viakalako says, very beautiful. He is a true Zambian and African. I love him. This can teach the Chinese in our country. Embrace us as people and learn our language. That's what I wanted us to discuss. If you've seen what we've shared on my YouTube channel. We've shared that, you know, the Chinese language is being taught in Zambia for people to write exams. And now we see this chief that can speak fluent Lunda and doesn't even speak, he doesn't even want to speak English. He speaks fluent Lunda throughout. It shows you that it's possible for people to embrace our culture than them imposing on us that we should learn to speak their language. So I like that fact about him. You know, he didn't go to the village and say, oh, I can't speak Lunda, so you're going to learn Israeli. And the whole village starts speaking to him in Israeli. Yes, Rosie is alive, but I'm just doing it on my own. Okay. Pelton Edwin says, next is an Indian or Chinese chief, but why? And I'm surprised we've never had an Indian chief, because we have loads of Indians that were born in Zambia, that live in Zambia, that run businesses in Zambia, that are very successful in Zambia. Hi, Kaskone. Webby Kanyenga says, not a chief, I come from the area. Okay. Martin Musuka says his ancestors were not born here. So it's a no for me. Exactly. You know, because when it comes to chieftainship, you know, it has to be generational. In as much as, like, you know, somebody commented that would you become a queen or king in Britain? It's impossible for you to become a queen or the king in the UK. Which is why Prince William, they made sure he married from Britain, because he is the next heir to the throne. Compared to his dad, Prince Charles, he is the next, because Prince Charles will be old anyway. He is the next. So they had to make sure he found a woman that, you know, is not from outside. That's why Prince Harry has married Meghan, because he knows he will never inherit anything. He knows he's not the next successor. He will never succeed anywhere, like, unless something happens. But even if it's from Harry, it's from Prince William, it's going to be Prince William's son. So that's why he married his love of his life. Okay. Webby Kanyenga says he is a headman, but it says chief. Chusa Silwimba says, if the majority or appointing authority think is capable of performing the functions, so let it be so. Yeah, in this case, it was actually the Chief Nyamwana, who adopted him. His parents died and then he was adopted, meaning, you know, he's lived all his life there and he's now the chief. Okay, Chusa says, I don't agree that it has to be generational. If you look at your example of British royal, the families had reigned before. Yeah. Like, we can debate on this on two different angles. You know, we can say, yes, it's okay, or no, it's fine. But either way, there's valid reasons, you know. Oh no, Rosie. What happens is, I think you paid for what you call membership. You can be a member on the channel. For the live streams, it's absolutely free. You don't pay. But then there's other videos that I need to be shooting, which need to first be seen by members first, and then from members, and then everybody on the channel. Yeah. But then that's what I'm setting up on my channel. Okay, Kabogo says, please, can a black man be a king in England? Word of Torah. So I've shared a video on my YouTube channel. Check it out, guys, about the chief.